Shirley Raines, and she's literally changing the face of homelessness.
Of course, makeup is not going to get them off the streets, but it's going to make them feel better. It's an escape. It's a small escape from this terrible reality that they're living. They look in the mirror and they see something other than the homelessness.
For the last 3 years, Shirley traveled every weekend from Long Beach to Skid Row with her nonprofit, Beauty to the Streets. Not just to give makeovers, but food, showers, and respect.
The reality of Skid Row is that it took a lot of time for us to get to where we are to earn that trust. So it took years of coming back every single Saturday.
And treating them with respect.
Yeah.
Like when they're waiting in line, I'm like, hey, thank you for your patience.
That's Locke. He's part of Fighters for the World, a motorcycle club that's all about giving back.
As soon as I hear the bikes coming down the street, they get excited.
And we might rev a little bit more when we're going through Skid Row to let them know. So we kind of have fun with that. We start revving and waving at people. We want to know where we're setting up. We want to be able to get off all the food that we've gotten donations.
The mother of 6 works a full-time job, but somehow she finds the time to cook for 400 to 600 people every week, all in her one-bedroom apartment that's currently filled with donations from supporters.
Monday through Friday, someone is saying, get out the way, you bum. No, you can't have this, you bum. You know, you're a nuisance. On Saturday, someone's saying you're important, you're special.
Shirley knows a thing or two about hardship, so she feels a deep connection to the women she meets.
I didn't just read a book. You know, I'm not a therapist. I'm a woman who actually lived this life in the streets, buried a child, went through traumatic relationships, was almost homeless myself, picked myself up. I've been working in the medical field for 26 years. I'm still very much ghetto, but I just survived that. So I'm able to say, I get it. I understand, but you have to just get through it.
Hey, girl.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. That's inspiring. I am your host, Stacy Brown.
Peace and love. I'm Niele, and welcome. Come on in. We got your headlines from the East Coast to the West Coast, from the North to the South. We have those for you. Yes. And Shirley Raines was trending yesterday on social media. She's from Compton, California. And her Beauty to the Streets is going to be felt, a lot on Skid Row, because that's the only pampering, some women may have had in years, and she was there. She was a constant. And so details about her passing are not available, but according to People magazine, she passed away in Las Vegas. And so, everybody's posting about her. I saw Lizzo crying, Stacy, yesterday. That was 2021, where she was a CNN hero. And so her love and her giving was felt by many.
Yeah. By the way, the CNN hero, do they still do that? I didn't notice it this past year.
I'm not sure if they do, but I think Laura and Anderson Cooper did it last year or the year before last.
But I saw
she had over 6 million followers. Between TikTok and Instagram. So she would put, her ministry, her work on TikTok and social media. And, during COVID, everybody was looking for something to watch. So she became very popular during that time.
Yeah. I think it was that time where everybody decided to start tuning into these podcasts more than ever, and these digital-based programs. And she certainly was at the top of that list. All of the inspiring work she did. I saw all those postings yesterday, especially about her. At first, I was like, okay, what's going on? I didn't know until I started reading the post, and I started seeing people like RNG just posted now, Rest in Power. I started seeing that. I was like, oh my gosh. So, and it's so interesting because this was somebody who, she was a CNN hero. CNN recognized what she was doing. I never got the impression, that she was doing it to get attention. She was doing it because, as she aptly stated, she understood. She could relate, I should say, to what these people were going through, and she had a family herself to be concerned about. But this was something that she never let go of. She never wanted these people to feel like they were nothing 7 days a week, because as she said, you're a bum, you're this, you're that, or just the outright uncaring attitude that many people display toward the unhoused and people like that. And so she wanted to make sure that they felt seen, felt some love, I mean, it was a great thing from the heart.
For sure.
Um, so also this morning, folks, speaking of the unhoused, and listen, it's everybody's feeling the stress and inflammation. And according to a new peer-reviewed study, it offers one of the clearest examinations yet of why Black Americans continue to die earlier than their white counterparts, pointing not to biology, but to the cumulative weight of stress carried across a lifetime. Researchers at the JAMA Network Open analyzed nearly 2 decades of data for more than 1,500 adults in the St. Louis region and found that Black participants experienced significantly shorter survival times than white participants, even when measured across the same age range. The study tracked participants from late middle age into older adulthood, examining how lifelong exposure to stress and inflammation intersects with mortality. Um, we see in the stress we see the stress every day. We're seeing people now having stress constantly with what's going on. But folks, this study, more than anything, when I was reading this study and I wrote about it as well, I was like, world, welcome to our world. I mean, yeah, Black folks are dying younger overall because of stress and the other things that causes the inflammation and things. But now other folks are starting to experience this as well.
Yeah, it's just, what struck me about this study is that, a lot of it is based upon discrimination that we
Yep.
as Black folks feel. And I think it's even worse now because of the trauma. I think over the past couple of weeks, unfortunately, with the two deaths of Renee and Alex, white folks feel slightly discriminated and they feel against,
That's what I
by their
meant when I
own
said welcome.
people,
Yep. Hmm.
and so it's good to see that the studies are coming out to show like we're not so like in the chat when they say, oh, you guys are just exaggerating, you just always complaining and want no, the study right here says it. The headline, new study shows how discrimination shortens lives in Black communities.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I said it before. And for Black folks, we always got the eighth day of the week, which is someday we might be free of this stress that we are feeling. Someday we might be free of the discrimination that we experience. And that all goes back well beyond I have a dream, because this nightmare that America
Mhm.
has been to people of color, it comes out in these studies.
Right. 100%. Let's add to South Carolina. Sad news, unfortunately, where a 93-year-old woman has died from the winter storm.
Mhm.
Now, her name is Miss Neither Kelly, and she decided to venture out during the winter storm, driving her car through below freezing
Mm.
temperatures for reasons unknown. So she took the drive on January 24th, and a neighbor later found her vehicle and her abandoned in a ditch. So Kelly was supposed to turn 94 next month with her family preparing birthday celebrations. And that's just a reminder that the winter storm is still impacting millions of Americans across southern and eastern coast. Hundreds and thousands are still facing power outages, with some still ongoing, and over 30 people have died from this weather storm, Stacy. So, I mean, I know I've seen people in Chicago walking on Lake Michigan, which I thought that was wild. But then you have these
They keep telling them not to do
stories.
that too, by the way.
But
Oh my
that's Miss
gosh.
Neither Kelly. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, she's become a victim to the storm.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, Dr. Marilyn says disproportionately impacted. I am so, I'm so tired of that phrase because it's so true, and it's just applies. It continues to apply to everything, just about everything about us. Disproportionately impacted. These storms, we are disproportionately impacted. Dr. Marilyn is so right. She all she needed was those two words right there. Austin says he quotes Fannie Lou Hamer, her tombstone. My feet is tired, but my soul is rested. So we got the philosophers out this morning, including Austin. Yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta weigh in on this. I that's how I woke up this morning. Feeling extremely heavy and sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired, yeah. Yeah. Isn't that something?
Right, you know, and you know, and I turned over to my dog and I said, "Girl, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired."
Oh gosh. Did Brooklyn respond?
Yeah, she's like, "Where's my plate?"
Yeah.
But it is, you know, you feel, and for me, it's like I'm more concerned. I'm concerned about myself. I don't want to feel the stress that I'm feeling around that's happening, but I'm concerned about our young people. I don't know that they are ready for, you know, like when the three of us grew up, we still had hints of it, right? Like we knew, you know what I mean? You know, and we were, you know, in supportive community environments, but we had hints of what this is like. You know, parents, that was their way of life.
Yeah. They're not battled. The young ones today, Greer, I think what you're saying too, they're not necessarily battle tested. They don't understand the battle. So to prepare them for war is really a tough task for all of us. It's really tough. Go ahead, Greer.
Yeah, we were just preparing them. One, we made them feel too comfortable, right?
Right. Somebody just told me that recently.
Right.
About my kids. Yeah.
Yeah, we've made them feel too comfortable. I mean, we told them just enough. We've told them just enough. But the ugliness that is, you know, that we're having to just like throw our hands up and just say they're stealing the election, right? And have to just accept that that's what, you know, whatever outcome, like, you know what I mean? Americans, this generation, and I'm not talking about us. I'm not talking about the colored folks in captivity. I'm talking about everybody else, right?
Right.
But Americans don't have it in them to do what we see in other countries when things like this happen.
Oh, I agree. Oh my gosh, I was just thinking that.
You know what I mean? We were critical of, you know, in Gaza and all these long wars and what happened in Cuba and all of the things, honey. But when you listen, we're comfortable. We got our PS5s and, you know, nice cars. I'm talking about myself. You know, black folks would, you know, I'll call my mother this too. You know, Black Panther with a fur coat on. We doing all of that. But reality is, you know, these are just things, and you know, and the life that we're headed towards, if we're going in this direction and the way that the speed that it's happening,
yeah,
I'm not prepared for it. You know, but I got, still got my knees bad, but my kids aren't prepared for that, and I'm still trying not to, you know, I'm telling them how to be safe, but they don't understand the gravity of that. Now, and it's not because I lived through that, but because I grew up at a time where it came from a time where the history was passed down. I had a grandmother who told me what it was like. You feel me?
Yeah. And you were just coming out of the whole civil rights thing, the King assassination when we were growing up. We understood better. We had a better grasp of it. But what you're saying also, and I agree wholeheartedly, that this nation as a whole, people in this nation as a whole, don't have what other nations have, where they eventually say, you know what, enough is enough. Because we're seeing powerful voices. Bruce Springsteen did a whole song and a whole CD he dedicated about Minnesota, Minneapolis, You got voices like, let's put aside the Black voices. Look at the white voices who are standing up. Glenn Close, and I mean some big names: Bruce Springsteen, Jesse Ventura, who used to be the governor, Schwarzenegger. Big names were saying this is crazy. What's going on? Shouldn't happen. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, rather. And yet, that's all we hear is, "Oh my God, this is crazy."
Yeah, it's insane. Patricia Jackson is saying it's truly exhausting every damn day. More hate, cruelty. Re-examine relationships. Our young kids have so many blended friendships, so it's hard for them to get it. That's a good point. Big Cheese says never underestimate the young Black demographic. I agree with that too. I know the Obamas have always said they don't even look to us no more. They're looking to the younger generation. And there are a lot of awesome young kids that are out there that give us hope, contrary to, what it is. It is, more of them do not care, but there are some that are excelling, and those are the ones we have to focus on. Mike V says, well, it doesn't help that the administration is involved in book banning across the country of Black authors and lecturers.
Right. And let me say this just so that I'm clear also, that I am with you 100%. Yeah, I am focused on those young people who are inspiring, right? I have great faith in it, but when I say that I worry about them, I'm a mother. I don't want my kids to have to go through this.
Right. Yeah.
So we had a plan that their lives are going to go in a certain way. It's not just me as a parent. I think as a community, right? Those who are involved, whether it was civically, in your churches, in your club or organizations, we had a plan that our children would have a certain quality of life, and that we knew that they couldn't scrub or clean their color off. But we had a plan. We're putting them in school, right? Setting them up for jobs and businesses. And now we're living at a time that, where it is become, because we're rule followers. Now, I'm not just talking about Black folks. I'm talking about everybody, right?
Everybody, yeah.
So we are, that those plans, they said what they used to say about, when you make a plan, God, we got to pivot. We got to pivot. And this is a significant pivot, so I'm concerned about that. So
absolutely. Well, you also have a video, right? Let's look at this video she has.
I was looking at photos from federal operations in Minneapolis over the last week, and this one picture stood out. Tayana Gibson Brown is standing in the doorway, obviously in distress. She's wearing what appears to be scrubs. She has Crocs on, and she's holding her phone in her hand. These agents are basically dressed for an imminent threat. There were pieces of equipment on these agents' weapons that seemed more at home on the battlefield, and here they were on the doorstep of a woman's house in Minneapolis. They cover gun culture and policy. Before that, I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years and deployed twice to Afghanistan. With the last 20 to 25 years, wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and Somalia, technology that was used in those wars has kind of migrated into the police force. In this photo, there are two suppressors, and a suppressor, also commonly known as a silencer. That was something that just kind of jumped out to me. They protect your hearing, they protect you from concussive blasts coming out of your rifle. This is something you would want to have on the end of your rifle barrel if you are in a house shooting in close quarters. When I was in the military, we were on the front line, and we had wanted suppressors for my team, but they weren't deemed important enough at the time. This kind of stuff is usually reserved for SWAT teams, hostage rescue teams, high threat environments. One of the things that is interesting on two of these rifles is this thing called the B.E. Myers Mall. It's a daylight laser and an infrared laser that only you can see behind night vision. Things maybe you'd consider when you were jumping out of a helicopter into bin Laden's compound in Pakistan in 2011. It's that kind of technology juxtaposed with the doorstep. Video from the scene kind of showed a disorganized mess with a lot of yelling.
There is kids in this house. Show the warrant first.
But I think that's kind of par for the course when you have people who are on the street opposed to operations, you have people in the house who are scared, and you have agents who are heavily armed. The agents arrest her husband. 4 days later, he was ordered to be released as his Fourth Amendment rights had been violated. I was looking at photos.
Whew, I tell you.
See, if Black folks need to see that, because this isn't just happening to the Hispanic community.
Right,
You know?
exactly. Well, ICE is now up in Harlem. The report came out last night. They're terrorizing uptown New York now. So, predominantly Black, not Spanish Harlem, and not the Harlem that Bill Clinton transformed over there on 25th Street. They're in Harlem. Black folks. So give me a break when you think that they're not targeting Black folks. That's just another of many examples that they're going after. So Black folks.
Yeah, well, remember, just before the holidays, they were in Chicago and put all those Black people out of the apartment building along with children at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then the scary part of what they told those Black people in Chicago was, if you have warrants, we're going to keep you. So you have ICE going in looking for undocumented immigrants, pulling out Black people. Okay, well, these Black people are U.S. citizens, but now there's a catch. If you have a warrant for parking tickets or anything else, guess what? I'm going to keep you for that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's happening across this country is scary. We've been yelling about, what's happening, but, it's getting closer and closer. Like Michelle Obama said, one day it's going to affect all of us. And it's affecting the white folks now, and it's getting closer and knocking on some Black folks' door. So when you say that it's a Latino thing, it's not. It's a our thing.
It's never been a Latino thing. People have made it that, and especially in the beginning. Now people are finally, a lot of people, not all people, like you said, not all people are waking up to it yet. But like Michelle Obama, like you quoted Michelle Obama, you'll come to that realization sooner than later. And this is all about power. Look, there's something going on right now that's not being talked about in West Virginia. The West Virginia Republicans there in West Virginia have started a petition. And this is very important too, Niele, extremely important, because we always seem to get caught off guard when things do happen. But they started this petition, and it's not getting any press whatsoever, where they want to repeal the 17th Amendment. So what is that, you might say? That is where they get to choose their senators, their U.S. senators, right? Mm-hmm. They get to choose, you don't get to vote for them anymore, right? So you say, this is just West Virginia. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the Constitution says that if 34 states do the same thing. See, West Virginia is starting this. If they pass it, and if 34 states do the same thing, then the United States Congress then has to act. They can go along with it. And as long as it's controlled by MAGA, they will go along with this. So be careful about that. Watch closely. You're not getting any pub right now. But as he moves through West Virginia, you better believe Florida, Texas, all of these states that are beholden to this administration is going to go along with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are little fires everywhere, Indiana, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. There are little fires everywhere. And Trump is doing, look at what he's doing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You thought it was about ICE and immigration reform, but it's really about the voter rolls. Yeah. So it's
Atlanta. Look what's happening down in Fulton County.
In Indiana, just yesterday, he was pissed at Indiana because, they didn't do the redistricting. So you have, and this is what, when we talk about
power,
states, when we talk about states governance, you have to know that they are strategically running candidates that you're not paying attention to on the ballot. And I'm talking about from, whoever works in the county registrar's office, right? Some of those are elected officials. the one thing that Republicans know how to do is they know how to place people in the right places. And a lot of times Democrats, unless you're really involved, you're just voting on big tickets, your governors, your big ticket items like the midterm turnout is actually low. I think it's going to be different this time, but this is how they win. They learn how to infiltrate on local and state levels to get in these positions, and that's where you have to kind of change the way this country is going. That's why where you need those, we got to get these young people that are active. We have to support them. And that goes to like a conversation in the Black community of these elders knowing how to pass the baton. A lot of these people, these kids, these young folks is ready to be in place, but you have an old guard who doesn't want to pass the baton or doesn't even want to groom somebody to take their spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not society's problem. That's our fault.
Well, and that's a good point. There's a lot of instances, unfortunately, where we stand in each other's way, or we don't support each other, and we harm each other. But it's wartime.
Yeah.
It's wartime, so it becomes a situation where, as they say, either you're with us or against us.
Yeah, but
right?
but no to what you're saying. Even that video. ICE has an office in Israel and they getting training. Some of them are getting, the type of tactical training. I mean, the policing in this country, they go overseas to Israel and these and get this high-tech training. And so, like, all of this stuff is relative, I guess, going back to what Greer said, she woke up heavy. Yes, some days you do have to take a mental health day, and it ain't just on Saturday and Sunday. Everybody need a mental health day because you start talking about it, you start thinking about it, and sometimes you're actually involved in it.
We're going to have to put Orangey on punishment, Greer. You got to block him for a little while. He says Nikki and Trump holding hands was just nasty. I bet they smelled like duck butter. What? Go in your corner. Prepare for the Swag Sports Show tomorrow.
Dr. Maryland said, did you see Nikki and Trump yesterday? Yeah, I think everybody saw him. Well, she got something out of it. That's all I can say. She got her gold card. She got her paperwork.
The acting on this is incredible. The behavior on this is absolutely horrible. When she saw Mike Johnson, MAGA Mike, it was like she saw a superhero. And it was unbelievable. Come on, you talking about overdoing? Didn't she look like somebody's oversized grandmother?
She probably didn't even know. She probably didn't even know who that was. In all reality.
She looked like she looks like what most people, many people, if they saw a Denzel or a De Niro or somebody on the street, I know you that way. She probably saw him on TV.
She did the same thing to a black pastor from Detroit. She was
playing the game, right?
She was getting her paperwork. That's what she was doing. Yeah, see, she was like, she knew all the white people yesterday.
We still love you, Mr. President.
She knew all the white people.
And Nikki makes a lot of cash. Not as much as Michael Dell.
She looks like she don't realize how out of place she looks.
But apparently in that clip, he clowned her as they were laughing.
Yes.
And so that is, wow.
Yeah, and Mike Johnson said something about wearing that coat. He would have wore a coat like that or something. I mean, but he was saying it. She took it as a joke. I mean, like you said, they were clowning her because listen, she looked like a clown.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. She looked like a clown.
Mike V said, why didn't she come out and support Kamala Harris if she needed immigration reform? Because Cardi B was over there and Meg the Stallion and Glorilla and all the people that she doesn't want to work with, you know.
Mm-mm-mm. It's like, come on. Again, when 50 Cent is the voice of reason, you got a problem because he was like, listen, yeah, y'all entertainers need to stay away from religion and politics. Yeah, come on.
Nikki is giving you very much the Aunt your mama right now with a big
Yes.
booty, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
With how many implants is that? Good Lord. Give me a break. Her wig was
I hope
crooked,
it
Dr.
was.
Marilyn
I mean,
says.
I hope it was worth it. You know, I hope it was worth it for her.
For the moment,
Because
it is.
we'll see if everybody will receive her. You know, when she decides to drop an album, we'll see if MAGA has her back. You know, I mean, she got her.
They can't even support Melania.
When she said, well, we're gonna talk about that later. But when she says she wants to she has her papers, yeah, okay, so you got your papers from Trump. We hope you did, because you know he's a liar. So now you're saying you think you are a US citizen now, but you better check the fine print, homegirl. You got to go. And remember, she was toting the gold card. Remember, he promised that if you give him $1 million and you pay 15,000, you know, because she said she didn't have to pay nothing. And I'm like, okay, I hope it's worth it. If you check the fine print, homegirl.
Look, she don't like she's capable of checking fine print. But nonetheless, a bomb cyclone. You talking about the weather. You were talking about the weather before we went into, we segued a little bit. But another, Niele, you talked about the storm. Another powerful storm is developing off the East Coast, and it's expected to again slam the East Coast this coming weekend. It's called a bomb cyclone, where deadly cold temperatures will again blanket up and down the East Coast. There's the snowfall intensity that they are trying to track, because right now they're seeing very, very different looks, and none of them are good. Forecast models agree that a storm system will form near the Carolina coast early Saturday morning, and then it is expected to intensify pretty quickly into that bomb cyclone. Oh my gosh. And as of yesterday, by the way, they show a convergence on at least some impact on the East Coast, on portions of the East Coast. So we'll see. Winds can go up to as much as between 100 to 200 miles. So this is really something to watch.
Yes, it looks like you guys are getting hit hard with this winter storm. And you know, Chicago, you got that's Vancouver and Seattle. That's the West Coast.
No, that's up in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. So this is something that they're going to get hit a little bit, at least by early forecast, right, up in the Pacific Northwest. But
that's Alaska storm, too, right?
That would be Alaska as well. Okay. But that storm is expected to really hurt the East Coast again. So,
okay, we'll because I mean the sun is shining. Okay, there we go. That's the storm you're talking about.
There you go.
That's the storm.
You know, LA needs to get hit one time, just because.
I mean, I would love to have like a winter storm. I'm not mad at a winter storm. You know, stay inside, get your snacks. I've been loving the videos on TikTok and Instagram about how the grocery stores, all the food is gone, and you have you know, people are going to the refrigerator every 5 minutes, you know, just snacking and snacking. I'm like, I want to participate.
That's a shame. Greer, you gonna say something?
I was gonna ask the chat the question. Do we still believe that Elon Musk and those folks are controlling the web?
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of control, Real ID. We've been talking about Real ID, it seems like for a century, but now it is actually here on February 1st. Isn't it Monday? Isn't February 1st Monday? Sunday. It begins. So here's the deal, folks. Travelers without a real ID or other acceptable identification can still fly by using TSA's new Confirm ID option. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like Grandmaster Flash Fury 5 is like white lines. Don't do it. But you can pay $45 in advance, but you have to fill out all of this paperwork, give your life story in the paperwork, and produce all this other stuff. It's like the Gestapo again. And they also are warning that if you go that route instead of real ID, your wait time to be screened from security is going to be at least an hour longer, and that even if your plane is scheduled to take off at a certain time, they're saying you may miss your plane. So, folks, the real ID is what they're really pushing and have been pushing. This is not new. It just starts Sunday for real.
But can you still travel with your passport? Isn't that sufficient as well?
The passport is good. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so if you have a passport and don't have a real ID, you're still good to go. Okay.
Yep. And the thing with that, Nia, that's a good point. How many people use their passport to fly domestically?
Well, I have been since they've been, saying, you need your ID, So I just, I'm gonna get the real ID, but I feel good knowing that I can still use my passport.
Yeah, absolutely. Another issue that has been coming up, it's come up before, now it's coming up again. There's the scam going on. In fact, I thought about it yesterday because my wife brought it up. The ghost students is what they're calling, and it's causing major problems around the country, and it's significant, particularly for Black folks. An army of digital fraudsters known as ghost students. They're exploiting stolen or fake identities to enroll in online classes, collect Pell Grants and loans. Then they vanish, of course, draining hundreds of millions of dollars and leaving victims with debts they never knew existed. And a threat that hits Black and brown communities especially. Jason Williams, who's the Assistant Inspector for General Investigations at the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Inspector General, said it's a huge issue. What happens is that these, of course, they take out these loans in somebody else's name. That loan doesn't get paid, and next thing you know, somebody's getting hit with either a collections notice or worse, the IRS comes after them. The shift to online learning that during the pandemic really did open the door to far more widespread fraud, which is now amplified by AI and weak identity checks at some community colleges. Over the past 5 years alone, federal investigators have uncovered more than $350 million in ghost student fraud. And that, really affects, like we said, Black students, for instance, because we're talking about Pell Grants and student loans. 72% of Black undergraduates rely on Pell Grants. It's the highest rate among racial groups, and Black students have a huge proportion of student loan debt, with those who hold bachelor's degrees averaging more than $52,000 in debt, which is significantly higher than other groups. So these ghost students are causing big problems.
Yeah. We know Pell Grants are synonymous with HBCU students. And so, that's just another talking point for the Department of Education to come after and say, something's wrong with the process for HBCUs. I could just hear it echoing down the hall. But a lot of people, survived during those COVID times, right? But the big corporations, they shouldn't have even been able to get money, and they got money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not, protecting these ghost people, but it's just like, we only doing what the 1% is doing.
Yeah. But the problem with that, though, Neil, the victims are mostly black students here. They're going after.
Oh, so wait, they're taking out the loan. So they're taking out the loans in the
Yes,
okay, got it.
they're
Got it.
getting,
It was a lot. Yeah. Okay,
yeah.
got it. Okay.
Because, like you said, HBCU students certainly are big reliance on Pell Grants. And
So they were
student loans
taking
as well.
out loans in the
In these,
student. Okay, got it. Okay,
yeah.
got it. Oh,
And
wow.
people are coming up with debt. There was one man, I'm trying to remember his first name. His last name actually was Mayer. Good Morning America interviewed about this, and years later he found out about it. He's living his life, and then he gets this IRS notice and these other notices, and he's in trouble.
Wow.
And he finds out, somebody had, stolen his identity. And so they're targeting, obviously the biggest target are black students. So it's another thing when you put your information. You got to be extremely careful. And listen, I have to say sometimes I've been sloppy with this, but when you put your information online, when you're filling something out online, you got to be very careful. The program you're using,
right?
Is it encrypted, et cetera, et cetera. It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
Especially I want to say Chat GPT AI, people put a lot of personal information in that. I did a course last night through NABJ about that. It's really AI in journalism. You cannot put your personal information in these things. You need to swap that stuff out. You know what I'm saying? You work on it in paper. That's something to be really, really careful about.
Yeah.
So, some tips: be careful, pay attention to what you are putting into your computers. And we'll track that. We have some comments coming out. Mike Carter is saying, yes, no snow and ice in South Houston suburbs, but still cold. Another cold front coming in this weekend. Mike V says they want to cut Pell Grants from federal spending, but want to spend federal dollars colonizing Greenland. And Orange G says, now that it is cold-blooded, I don't go that low, but my son has made one payment in the last 5 years. No crawfish for him.
Here we go.
Okay.
I told him to absolve his son, to forgive. Be like Joe Biden. Forgive your son of that student debt.
All right, let's head to South Africa, where cinema chains and distributors have pulled Melania's documentary from airing in theaters, citing the current climate. If you don't know, ticket sales are horrible. They're disastrous all across the country and all around the world. And it should be noted that Amazon paid $40 million for the doc licensing rights with Melania, receiving $28 million and an executive producer credit. And they're doing a forced screening tonight at the Kennedy Center. And
nobody at the Kennedy Center.
And of course, it's set to air tomorrow on Amazon. So it's horrible. It's a mess. I'm glad. Pie in her face. Mush.
Why is it? I don't understand. Listen, Donald Trump, people say, is not the smartest guy in the room all the time, right? I'm sure there are other folks, his friends at CBS, his friends at CNN. Why didn't they help convince? Don't put this thing in theaters. Put it on CBS. CBS will run it prime time. They'll advertise it, etc. Lauren sent me something. Lauren Burke this morning. She shared something this morning. And one theater up, I think it was Oakland or somewhere, it had 2 tickets sold in the whole theater.
Most theaters across the country is only reporting like 1 ticket sold.
And then they put it on. They also put it on 1 ticket sold. Yeah, and they also put it on Craigslist and somewhere else where they was trying to get people to they give tickets away. And they're saying you got to stay in your seat though. This is
well. They say that Melania inside says that Melania is actually pissed because of all this Minneapolis is overshadowing and messing up her rollout.
That's not what's messing up her rollout.
So she is pissed because all of this hate that's coming in, that it was already hate there, but now all of this is messing up her rollout. Okay, they say she's in the White House pissed about it. Okay,
is she now?
Yeah, because this is just messing up her vibe.
Her husband did her a disservice. I'm telling you, I'm being serious. Why didn't he just tell his flunkies at CBS, you're gonna air this at 9 p.m. Friday night?
But that's not what she wanted. But I think she wants a documentary on a streaming platform. Amazon is way more prominent.
But why in the movie theaters though?
Huh? But because that's a big deal. I mean, first of all, come on. She's competing internally. She thinks she's competing with Michelle Obama. Okay. Yeah. So she wants to go big. She don't want no little CBS 60-minute special. Don't sold her like that. Movie. Don't sold her like that, Stacy. She wants the streaming and she wants the lights, the whistle, Hollywood. She thought she might be at the Golden Globes or the Academy Awards, No,
come on now.
Our document, but see, that's what happened. If Michelle would have put out a documentary, Michelle would have been on every news.
Michelle had a book tour that they had in arenas with 30,000 people coming out every night.
Baby, the only person that called her for an interview is Fox News. She can't even go talk to Gail. Okay,
no, come on now. CBS if Trump says CBS.
No, she has not been on CBS. The only news outlet she has been on is Fox News.
Oh my gosh.
She can't even get you. She should have been on CNN, MSN. That's how it goes. A rollout like this in the First Lady. Come on, this is major. She would be on the cover of People, Vanity Fair, Vogue. Ain't nobody called her but Fox News, and she can't sell no tickets.
You know how they always show on video and stuff saying that she don't like him and she doesn't hold his hand. She definitely ain't holding his hand now. He is done.
But that shows how delusional she is. What did you think? Nobody likes you, ma'am. Nobody likes you. And it's highly offensive that you're the biggest immigrant. You need to be deported. Girl, bye.
Look out.
Girl, bye.
You can't deport the First Lady.
But she can't even hold a full sentence. I know I'll be messing up words, but honey, she ain't even on the Richter scale with them.
Oh, not the Richter scale. Oh boy, she can't even make that move, huh? Dr. Marilyn says she struggled with reading children's books during Christmas. And Mike V says, I'm surprised they didn't post it on Fans Only.
Okay, Dr. Miller, she was reading the children's book like this. You're supposed to read the children's book like this. She was doing this the whole time. Girl, nobody's going to see that. Okay?
Oh gosh, this is a PR nightmare. We got to do something about it.
And then she got to go to the Kennedy Center tonight. They'll force all of the Republicans in Congress, all their staff.
Yeah,
all their
and Nicki Minaj will be there. Yeah, that's true.
The staffers are going to fill the Kennedy Center.
Dr. Mellon said she's telling me the Epstein file she'd watch.
Gloria Gaynor and Kiss going to be there tonight. He going to make all of those so they can say celebrity showed up to this event.
That's why I said Nicki will be there.
So she just, she's gonna have a horrible weekend. That's not a good feeling. What we need to do is now start posting Michelle Obama's books and her Becoming. Let's rack up them numbers and start rewatching Becoming on Netflix. Let's make that the number one this weekend.
Why you had to bring this lady up like that, Niele? You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I'm watching Becoming this weekend 5 times. Okay, let's make that number one. Oh, that'll really piss her off. And Becoming was really good. It was a really good documentary.
Listen, they gave her $28 million. He made them give her $28 million, so she should be happy.
And the question, and now look, Jeff Bezos, he gave her and guess what? He's one of the big tech companies that now gets to do whatever he wants to do because he gave Melania a movie. So there you have it right there too.
And Bezos is kind of feeling some heat too. You know, he has gutted the Washington Post. He has Amazon is laying off another 18,000 people.
Well, that comes to our next story where we could talk about corporate cause and effects. So Amazon axes 16,000 jobs as it pushes AI and efficiency. Now, the company confirmed the corporate job cuts on yesterday, completing a plan for around 30,000 since October, while leaving open the possibility of further reductions. Now, in more layoff news, the world's largest packaging delivery company, UPS, will eliminate up to 30,000 jobs and shut down another 24 facilities this year. The company made the announcement this week as it reduces deliveries for Amazon in an ongoing shift in what they're calling a more profitable business. Now, in smaller layoffs, Home Depot is eliminating about 800 positions at its headquarters in Atlanta. And that's about 150 corporate employees that will be impacted, with the rest being remote roles. Now, corporate employees will also have to return to office at Home Depot for 5 days a week, starting in the spring.
You see what you see the pattern. You see what's going on, right? First, they eliminated all these government jobs, right? Now, Amazon, UPS, Home Depot, tens of thousands of jobs each they're cutting. What's the solution?
Well, this is what leadership looks like when you say this is a solution, like something like a stimulus package to keep the economy going. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott has been named the new co-chair of the Mayors for Guaranteed Income program. Now, the program is a coalition of about 180 mayors committed to advancing a federal guaranteed income, direct referring cash payments to middle and low income people. Now, of course, I don't know if you remember, but it was founded in June of 2020 by former mayor of Stockton, Michael Tubbs, who is now running for lieutenant governor here in California. And now the program has expanded to county legislators. And the network acts as a research and resource hub for municipal pilots around the country. And they do have 180 mayors, but over 72 have actually enacted this income program, guaranteed income program. And so basically it's just a stimulus package to kind of keep the, to stimulate the local cities for those, like we're talking about all these layoffs. This type of program would be beneficial to one of these individuals who might be laid off at UPS, at Amazon or Home Depot and all the other companies that are laying off. So, I mean, some people might say this is a socialist program, but it's also, when you look at all the layoffs that we just named, and if individuals live in those cities, this could be a good program to help supplement the cost, as you see what's happening with SNAP.
Yeah.
Now, folks that don't have kids with SNAP starting on February 1st, they're going to have to work proof of work for 80 hours in a month, or community service if you want to get SNAP and you don't have no kids. So this is a great program, I think, to help, stimulate the economy on a local level.
Again, Mayor Brandon Scott in Baltimore and the governor of Maryland. This is the way. This is what people should expect from their elected leaders, right? But that's just one of the very few places that people get competent, really strong, I'm for the people type leadership in the state of Maryland. Those who live in Maryland are, all things considered, are very fortunate. Very fortunate. And guess who leads it? 2 young, strong Black men.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing. It's really, and people were quick to the draw when Westmore said, I'm not signing a reparations study. He said, why not just give them reparations? See, people didn't understand Westmore when he refused to sign that thing because he's like, we had enough studies. We had enough. He threw the ball back at them. Bring me something. Put something on my desk to sign that says Black folks getting checks. See,
Yeah,
we can't. Go ahead.
Michael Carter says this is so sad about all those job losses at Amazon. Yeah, I mean it is. But you see, he's giving Melania 28 million.
Yeah,
but nothing or a flop.
Right. And so to your point, Mayor Scott, it's like I'm trying to give people something, who need it, who deserve it.
Right. And I mean, and we're talking about mayors. We're talking about mayors across the country. We're talking about 180 mayors. This has been going on since 2020 under Michael Tubbs. And so these are, cities looking mayors that are coming together on a national level saying, hey, this is something viable. This can help stimulate our cities. Right. And so that we can help until they can get on their feet. And so, I mean, this is what it's going to take when you have a government that's constantly taking away all of the programs that help, local communities.
Yeah.
The impact is going to be local. The impact is going to be local.
Which like you said, that's where you use the word stimulus. That's stimulating the local economy. That's stimulating folks. That's just stimulating folks, right? The thing, I mentioned earlier, like with the state of Maryland, what Westmore did before too. You remember when Elon Musk and Doge and Trump was cutting all of the federal jobs, he was like, come work, we'll find a spot for you in Maryland government, right? That's leadership. That is absolute leadership. I just enjoy those two from the beginning. Not folks say, oh, because they're Black. I can care less about politicians. But the fact is they are Black. And the fact is they're showing you how it's supposed to be done.
Right. Michael Carter says 16,000 corporate employees. No way they're going to find another comparable job in a short period of time. That's true. He also says, right, waste of money on her and this boring documentary.
Yeah. I don't even, you know what, I'm not even gonna acknowledge that, because when folks, and obviously I am acknowledging it, right? But when the only criticism that some folks have is of Black folks. That's the only criticism. I never hear certain folks criticize other people. It's always Black folks in power or Black folks trying to accomplish things that there are certain people who will make sure they go out their way to criticize them. That's unfortunate for them. One last thought. Claudette Perry says Home Depot has been named on the boycott list, as well as Amazon. They are losing money. As you say, Nia, the people power. People power. But that's a great story. I'm glad you brought that up about what the mayors, and particularly, I guess I put the emphasis on Mayor Scott, but I just enjoyed him. That's why, him and Wes. Self-hatred, yes, Michelle. Okay, how about this? I want to get your thoughts on this. Now it has since been said that some people believe that these two joke around a lot or whatever, but ABC 13 anchor Samika Knight in Houston, Texas, and meteorologist Alita Loresco went viral after an on-air exchange that some viewers criticized as inappropriate. I think we have it right there. Let's play it.
Are you serious? Don't do that. Do that. Do that. They're really bad. Thank you for
So basically, she told her that she needed some lotion on them legs, and then some say that they were just joking, that this is, they have done something like this before, but then a lot of people got heated about it, saying how professional it was of that weather person to call her out like that, especially being a Black woman. And then there were others who was annoyed with the camera person who was attempting to pan down to her legs. Which is it, folks? Were they just joking, or were they just joking, or was it inappropriate, or is it okay?
Well, Michael Carter says, "Oh no, not my local news anchor." So Michael, chime in, because what was happening when that video went viral was the chat was saying that people that lived in that city said, "Oh, they do that all the time." So the people that actually lived in this city in Houston, they said, "Oh, they do that all the time." So it was like an inside joke that went viral, like a local story that went viral. So Michael, let us know, do they do that all the time? Because if they do, I think it adds a different perspective to the story, a local story that went national, and it was an inside joke because everybody in Houston was in on the joke, but us.
Yeah. It's some people, as that graphic Greer just had up too, was saying that they pretty much the station, right? It says, I bet they're going to make Samika downplay it and say something like, "We're good friends." I don't know these two. I have never seen them together before. I've not watched that.
Yeah, because we're not in
before,
Houston.
so I don't. Right. So I don't know. But Michael Carter says the three of them are close and can banter a lot close to the line. So,
Yeah,
so maybe that's just the bottom line there. But I know nationally, people who are not there, they were really taken aback by this.
Yeah. But once you read the comments and you see people from Houston saying, I mean, because every city has its favorite local news anchors and they have a quirky thing that they do. And it might be unrelatable because you're not used to that city or town's culture. And so once I saw that, I was like, okay, it's an inside joke that went national. But to your point, all we saw, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, the etiquette in the newsroom has just gone beneath, because a lot of stuff that happens on these podcasts and on these shows, if you've worked in a newsroom on a local or national news program, it's tight and right.
Yeah,
it's not no loosey goosey. It is tight and right. And so to see that, it's like, wow. But like I say, if it goes down like that in Houston, that's what it is.
You was like, your first reaction was like, oh, you was ready to put the Vaseline on, huh?
I just thought it was like, that was cold blooded. You know what I'm saying? And then when he went down, she was like, don't do that. Don't do that. And it's like,
and he didn't. He stopped. He did stop, though, right?
Right.
Dr. Nicole says they sound like they're making something out of nothing in this case.
Yeah.
But I remember Warner Wolf was a sports guy on first ABC 7 in New York and then CBS Channel 2 in New York. This is back in the 80s. And the weatherman was Herb Jakowski, and he used to call him Mr. G. And Warner later worked in Washington, D.C. as well. But he used to play on Mr. G all the time. Like, he'd do the sports highlights, and they would always show something crazy, like a fan dressed up as a clown or something. And Warner would say, and Mr. G was at the game, and so that would be the closest to this type of stuff that we got back then. And so I kind of, and that from that perspective, I can see, okay, these two probably banter a lot. Because let me tell you something. If that wasn't banter, and she'd have came at her like that, I just had to imagine that what
happened during the commercial break.
Oh my gosh.
What happened during the commercial break? Nicole McDaniel says, yeah, sounds like they're making something out of nothing in this case. Michael says the three of them are close and can banter a lot close to the line. LOL. Thank you for bringing in the tea in Houston. Houston, what's up, Houston? He also says the banter with Michael on Good Morning America too, and sometimes can be funny yet cringy at times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because not everybody's in on it, right? So you're kind of like, okay, what's the real story?
Yeah. and look, but maybe I wonder if the ratings spiked You know, maybe people went
Oh,
and
you know
watched the
what?
local news on
The next
on
day,
YouTube
yeah.
just to see who showed
Mhm.
up to work the next day.
Right, exactly.
Because some people in the chats when they posted that were like, HR, where's HR? And this and that. And then there were people like Michael in the chat saying, oh no, that's just what they do. That's how they get
Yeah,
down.
I saw those comments too. Where's HR? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, somebody who doesn't need HR, he just has to have his faith in God. He just keeps getting blessed on and on. I'm talking about Shador Sanders, who has been added to the NFL Pro Bowl. He will replace Patriots quarterback Drake May, who's headed, of course, to the Super Bowl. And Sanders is the first fifth-round rookie to make the Pro Bowl since the Los Angeles Rams. So there you have it. Shador is going to the Pro Bowl.
So
what a year.
Yeah, because of his coach and management, he doesn't deserve to be in the Pro Bowl, in my opinion. And then and I say that only because he didn't play enough, and that's not his fault. But number two, if I'm him too, the way they treated him, I'm not sure I would accept. It depends on the money, though. If there's money involved, but I'm not sure. I think that it could have been a time. And again, he obviously sees it different. I'm not criticizing him in no way, shape, or form because it's his decision to make. But I think the way I felt about it, the way they treated him, I'd have told him, yeah, okay, so you want to call me as a replacement? Take that replacement and shove it. The way they treated him, because Cleveland now has to start him next year. There's no question about it. They have to start him.
Yeah, for sure.
He holds the cards now, in my view. He holds the cards.
And he's I love his disposition. And clearly he doesn't need the money. You know what I'm saying? He does it for the love of the game. And he keeps showing up and showing out at that.
None of them do it for the love of the game. Trust me, it's for the money. None of them play the game for the love of the game.
I'm talking about his, but I think that if you ask some of them, they'd say different. I mean, they all want to go.
Oh, they will say different.
They want.
No, I'm not talking about the Pro Bowl. No, I'm not talking about the Pro Bowl itself. I'm saying about playing the game itself.
But they also play, Stacy, because they love football and they all want to go to the Super Bowl. They fight to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and there's a big paycheck at the end of that. Listen, nobody's playing sports for the love of it. They playing it for that contract.
Kobe played for the love of basketball.
Kobe played because he was getting $40 million a year. If they wasn't paying him, he'd be working a 9 to 5. So I don't want to hear anybody. These athletes kill me with that. Oh, it's for the love. Give me a break. You're good at what you do, and some of you are great at what you do, and you're getting a $40 million a year check. You're not playing for fun. You're not playing for the love of it, especially football. You're getting beat up constantly. That's why they have one game a week, because they can't take it every day like basketball and baseball and the other sports. You're not playing for the love of it.
Helen Brown says Philly anchor and reporter discussed the benefits of Vaseline. So, I mean, see, local news, they talk about all types of stuff.
I guess they changed since we used to watch it, Niele.
I've never seen Philly news.
No, I'm saying, like you said earlier, like with the news used to be, right and tight. Remember that? But I guess it's changed. I guess you change with the times too. So
yeah.
I have not seen Phillies either.
I haven't seen. Let's head to Hollywood, where the Isley brothers are set to receive a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They received it yesterday after their legendary contributions to Black culture music for multiple decades. And so that's always cool to see. Congratulations to the Isley brothers.
Yeah, if I'd have guessed, I would have thought that they already had a star, but it is a process. The biggest loophole is the money to pay for the star, but a lot of these guys have that and more to spare. But it's generally a group that raises the funds. They generally, because they really want it to be a total honor. You don't want the artist to have to pay for it. But having said all that, I thought the Isleys already had a star, Niele. They certainly deserved it.
Yeah, they didn't. So they got it yesterday.
That's
Chat,
great.
you can chime in and say what your favorite Isley Brothers song is.
What's yours?
Um, Here we go. Here we go again.
Okay.
That's my favorite one. How about yours?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. Um, hmm.
Everybody's talking. See, this is now we're finding out what everybody's doing locally. Nicole McDaniel said, yeah, local news does tend to get just a bit. What did she say? Just a bit more racy, like Mike and Alex in Fox Philly.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, so every local news anchor or morning show, they have their own theme that they do. Okay, Big Cheese is saying Between the Sheets. Nicole McDaniel says Choosy Lover.
Choosy Lover. Oh, okay. I can go with that one. Maybe I don't know. Everybody used to, 80s, especially Between the Sheets was the song.
Mine was What Do You Do When You Love Somebody? I like that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Walking alone. That's my jam. Michelle Madison says, For the Love of You, Isley Brothers. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I can't decide. Between the Sheets was something else, though. I will say that the whole.
Greer, what's your Isley Brother jam?
You know what? I think Between the Sheets is probably mine as well. It's hard to say. So, the thing about it is, like, when I think of the Isley Brothers, even though I just think about Ron Isley. So, start mixing up what he did, on his own versus them together, because he was the voice of that group anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's but I'm a huge fan.
Yeah. Him and R. Kelly made some great music together.
Oh, they sure did.
Mm-hmm. He was one. He's like Ron Isley is like a Charlie Wilson. You know what I'm saying? They stay relevant.
I agree with 100%.
Yeah.
They stay relevant in the times.
It's your verses.
They could relate. They did. Isley Brothers did do a verses, but I think they did.
No, I'm saying Ron and Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. Yeah, they could do a verses for sure. Yeah. For sure. That would be a good one. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Because Charlie Wilson has worked with everybody in hip hop: Snoop Dogg, Tyler the Creator, just everybody.
And the hip hop community loves Ron Isley.
Mm-hmm. So, and they could actually use, what would be dope if they also use songs of theirs that people sample.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That would be a good twist on the verses. And don't forget, the verses between Hit Boy and Will is January 30th. Tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow. Yeah.
That's tomorrow. Yeah. Okay.
That's tomorrow.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah, that's for Grammy week. And we have your Grammy headline for you today. 8-year-old Era V and her dad are Grammy nominees for Best Children's Album. And if they win for their album Harmony, Aura will be the youngest Grammy winner ever. So we have the 8-year-old little black girl who's going for a Grammy. Blue Ivy currently owns the youngest title for Grammy winner. So she'll take the spot from Blue Ivy if she wins.
Oh,
there's Aura V.
That is so cool. Wow.
Mm-hmm. So you have that. It's a lot of Grammy headlines coming out, a lot of parties happening here. And then of course, don't forget the New Edition concert kicked off yesterday. And so that's New Edition, Tony Braxton, and Boyz II Men. That kicked off in Oakland. And so it's coming to a city near you. So get your tickets.
Yeah. Michelle says, Stacy, I am surprised as well that they have never received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame before this. Yeah, congratulations, Isley Brothers. Yeah. Well deserved.
What does that say? Dr. Marilyn said, I like For the Love of You. Not sure if that's the song. Is that a song for the I gotta be
living? That's the song I meant to say.
Oh, okay, yep.
Because I was thinking it in my head as I meant to say In the Love.
I mean, think about the lyric, drifting on a memory. Ain't no place I'd rather
be. Classic.
Bed with you, drifting on a memory.
Right.
Can you name me a song today?
Come on, then.
Booty, booty, bang, 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 bang.
Go
In
ahead.
the club, bottles, bottles. You know, but
Amen.
they was drifting on a memory. Okay, ain't no place I'd rather be because of that memory. Come on. Come on. You know, I'm playing the Isley Brothers. That's the soundtrack today as I'm working.
Oh gosh. Okay. Gris had been there, done that. We were talking about the club stuff.
Yeah, right. You know.
But you're right. When you think about those lyrics, we don't have lyricists today.
And then, like they said, the one I like, what do you do when you love somebody and you want to walk away? But here we go again. You know, baby. Congratulations to that.
Absolutely. What else you got? Don't you got some Whitney Houston stuff too?
Oh no, that was the Dr. Marilyn. Dr. Marilyn, she had the question of who today, since it's still Grammy talk. If you think about all the nominations and things, Dr. Marilyn wanted to know who's comparable today to Whitney Houston. I think that's a good segue as when we were talking about lyrics,
right,
and delivery. Right. You know, Whitney Houston was another one. Saving all my love for you for a married man. Come on. You know, remember that song?
Believe me, I remember that song.
Nobody was mad about it. Nobody was mad about it.
Yeah,
you know, and she was really taking somebody's man.
Yeah.
You know, or something as simple. You will never see a Summer Walker talking about I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. You know, I mean, taking lyrics and making them, you know, taking them to the next level. We just don't have them.
We don't.
We just don't have them. No. So Whitney Houston. Oh, okay. Nobody who can compare to Whitney Houston today.
There isn't any. Let's keep it.
No, there's not.
Certainly not Whitney and prime Whitney.
I mean, and when we say today, Jennifer Hudson is not. She's
not current, right.
She's not. Yeah, I can't. I mean, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
They have different voices. They're not stylistically. They're not the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
The clarity in Whitney's voice and the range that she had. I mean, we were talking about the Star Spangled Banner the other day. Just the ease in which she presented that. I mean, it just. You know, I can't even put it in words. It was just an amazing performance.
With ease. You said it, with ease. That's the thing that you look for, like effortlessly. It's like when people, I always say when people do like try to dance like Michael Jackson or whatever, you might be able to do it well or whatever, but the effortless ability, Michael was very effortlessly, did it very effortlessly. And Whitney, her voice, it was just like, it seemed like, man, everything was so natural.
Right. Okay, I'm going to throw out a couple names. Okay, so you have Ella Mai, Coco Jones, you have a Moni Long, SZA. These are women that are out now. Lizzo, Summer Walker. See, none of these names are comparable. Jasmine Sullivan, her.
No,
Victoria Monet.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, no.
Dr. Marilyn, we tried.
And I think that's the difference too. And now I'm gonna tell you, I'm a Summer Walker fan. All right. And I like Money Long. I like her too. But they, I'm gonna have to put some of this on the producers. These producers aren't really, you know what I mean? I mean, like,
that's a good point.
They're not making records that are, that are timeless. They're just not. From a production standpoint, they're just not doing it,
Because everybody wants what, like Niele keeps saying, everybody wants to be shaking their, stuff and being in the club and this and that.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, let me just say this, okay? I appreciate that. I think that criticism about women who are doing this, but this is the business that we're in, especially we're talking about Black
Well,
women.
it's not that criticism is not just directed toward the women. It's like you said, the producers.
Right. The record labels and the production companies are telling these Black women that this is the only way that they're going to make it. Right. We remember that Summer
Walker,
Summer Walker, the girl. That's what Niele. Like that girl.
Michelle Madison says Ella May.
Ella May. Okay, Ella May.
She not know Whitney though. I love Ella May though.
No, listen. Whitney was with. Just imagine if she didn't have her mother and Clive Davis. Where would her career have been? Let's keep it real. She came from a legendary parent who was known for producing and arranging some of the greats. Okay.
And don't forget Dionne Warwick, her aunt.
Right.
So she came from a legendary family. And also, we're going to talk about that. I mean, Dionne Warwick's voice.
Right.
Like that.
Right. And they positioned Whitney as a pop artist because she had that challenge all through her career, where remember she was booed at the Soul Train Awards because they positioned her for greatness. She wasn't just gonna be no R&B singer.
Right.
Then that's just to your point, Greer, that that Clive Davis, he did the same thing to Alicia Keys and to Jennifer Hudson. Just knowing, looking at them bigger, which was, a blessing for Black artists at that time, looking at them bigger than just an R&B album. Go ahead. Yeah.
To your point, those women that you named there, I'm going to go so far as to say that was the last generation of Black women in music. And I have to put Beyonce in the class all by her. She's over there in another stratosphere. But I'm talking about in terms of artistry and full package, even
full A&R,
all of
artist development.
You're
gonna wear a gown. You're not gonna go on the red carpet in no jeans and no stilettos, or no, you're gonna get you some couture, and we're gonna put you out there.
Right. Didn't have to have the talent to support it. So your team and the people who are backing you, that plays a huge part in that. Whitney, Alicia Keys, Jennifer Hudson, they never had to do that. Remember, Alicia Keys was kind of a tomboy when she came out.
Right. Right.
And so I would go so far as to say that was that last generation, right, of Black female vocalists who, because you had Mariah Carey, all of that going on at that time.
Yeah.
And who had that kind of like classic, long lasting, like we're still listening to Mariah Carey music today.
And Mariah was good with flirting with hip hop. I mean, I think nobody did that better than Mariah because she was with Diddy. She did tons of projects with Jermaine Dupri, Brad, Nas, ODB. She was able to flirt with all of it.
Well, that was the real side of her. That's the thing about it, right? Because we think about what the music industry was back then. I was heavily involved in that world at that time. They positioned her like they did Whitney Houston, right? To be this pop star. But she was like Whitney. Nobody knew this other side of Whitney.
Right.
They was outside. Okay.
But look at how well they hit that. They hit that for a long time about Whitney. That didn't come out till later. I mean, people, behind the scenes knew. Yeah, you heard about it, but from a public perception, they did an excellent job of, it came a time where you couldn't hide it, right? But for the most part, they hit that very well.
Right. And the same thing with Mariah, so I mean, the reason why she was positioned so well, especially at that time, remember she was married to Tommy
Mottola, yeah.
That put her.
And she got away from him. That's why she got away from him, because she was like, I want to go with ODB and I want to, do this.
But imagine
J-Lo swept in.
Right. Imagine had she not been at that label at Columbia Sony, she may not have had that career.
Yeah, that
Right.
established her. And now on the back end, she leans more into that than she does her hip hop side now.
Can I tell you
Now
something
she's
about
the Tommy Mottola wife that he wanted. Now she is that.
Greg? Let me tell you something about Mariah. Me and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers.
Okay. And on that note, she
No,
said,
but Michael Carter says that he loves. Do you know this person, Neil? Gabby Simone from American Idol fame last year. She is the closest voice, he says, I believe I've heard as possible next to Whitney.
no, I'm not familiar with her. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And wait, since we're talking about Mariah, we were talking about Nicki Minaj. Remember when they were on American Idol and they were going at it? Now, those are two people that can't stand each other. And one thing you don't want to do is be on Mariah's bad side.
Is that right?
Oh my gosh. Do you see how she drags J-Lo to this day? I don't know that person. Who? Huh?
Well, see, that I can respect that. I can respect them keeping it real.
She's like, who? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah,
wow.
so Dr. Marilyn, we hope we answered your question. There is none.
Oh.
There is
okay.
none that is comparable to Whitney today from today's group of young female artists.
Right. I think that out of that group, that some of the names that Niele mentioned earlier, the only one that had a chance, and she might still have a chance, is Summer Walker, because she had no
ghetto for me.
No, she is no. Listen, I'm not talking about what she looks like.
I'm talking about her lyrics.
I'm talking about her. I'm talking about her career, because
I don't see it.
she had more than one record, more than one album that had success. Those others that you mentioned, most people probably don't even know who they are. But Summer Walker, I mean, she had a little bit of a run there, and she was connected to Erica, a couple of other artists, right? Outside of, she has range. It's production. It really is.
I don't know about Summer. I don't know about that, Greer.
But listen, give her a listen. Give her a chance.
No, I know all her songs.
Okay,
She's trap music. She's like in the LMA category for me. Like it's trap R&B. You know, her lyrics.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So
But
I mean, I know her. I'm familiar with her.
From a production standpoint and a talent standpoint, she and Ari Lennox, they definitely have it. They just don't have the right people behind them. And I don't believe that we're in an era where you have the Clive Davises of the world, or the Jermaine Dupri's, or the Puppies. You don't have producers who are making real solid
talent. Mm-hmm.
You don't have the R. Kellys. You know what I mean? You do not have that. And I'm not trying to take anything away from today's producers, but
But now today's studios, they just send you the track. There was a time where you could go to the studio and the artist and the producer and the songwriters were all in the same room. Correct. Now, send me a track, send me your audio, and then it's put together. So it's not even organically done.
Well, people are doing it at home, right? I saw Cardi B working on her record at, it would look like a little apartment or somebody's, bedroom or something. It's not the studio. Now, listen, doesn't mean that you couldn't make good music, right? But I think that when we think about teams, there was like Erica and the Roots, and like there's no crews like that. That's me. I'm old school. Like you know what I'm saying? You had Def Jam was a crew. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. For me, like I worked with LaFace. I worked with Tricky Stewart. Yeah. I was there when Usher was 16 and we was taking him to the movies in Atlanta. LaFace was like the ballads, the songwriting, like Babyface was cranking them songs out left and right, and they were giving distribution deals to producers that were compatible with their style. So like, yeah, to your point, and then you have like the Jimmy Jams and the Terry Lewis and what they did for Janet and Karen White. I mean, that's when you had really good music. Okay, nowadays it's all manufactured. There's no collaborations. It's just a phone call and a text, and let me send you the track, or here's my audio. You know what I mean? You don't get those organic, like late in the studio at 2:00 in the morning, and you got an idea, and somebody is playing the chords on the piano, and you writing, and y'all come out with this shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stuff like that.
I know we going too far because this is a conversation offline. I'm gonna say one word because our audience, I think we're in two mate. That's all I gotta say.
Oh gosh, say no more.
Kenny Gamble.
Oh, you know very well,
right?
Who you are,
Chucky Booker. You know, it's some Michelle Madison says Ashanti Claudette Perry says with Whitney, it's vocal quality, none like her after her, in my opinion. Yeah,
it's hard to argue with that, right?
Yeah,
it's hard. You can't argue. Yeah, it really. You mentioned earlier Jennifer Hudson, for instance. Even in Jennifer Hudson's best, it didn't, in my view, this is gonna sound bad, it didn't compare to Whitney's worst.
Ooh, what about Fantasia?
No. No, and listen, and you know my favorite line, and it applies here too. I'm not a Whitney fan, but you got to give props. When Whitney at her best, music had never seen anything like that before. And you can talk about, you know, I'm a big now I am a big fan of the legends, right? You know, you go back to the songstress and stuff like that, Billie Holiday, et cetera, et cetera. But Whitney was in a class, like you said, Beyonce is here now. Nobody else is even in the conversation. Whitney was that voice. It was like, this is what music is supposed to sound like.
Mm-hmm.
She was all that in a bag of chips, and I wasn't even a fan.
Yeah.
So
Dr. Mellon says, I like Jane Hancock, Snoop's artist. Yeah, I like her too. She's pretty dope. She makes good music. She gives you that nostalgia feeling in music for sure.
Yeah, so to put a pin on this, I'll just go, we'll just say what Michael Carter is saying. The music industry has changed.
It really has. It really has.
All right, so you want to get to some black facts?
Sure.
She said, sure, if you must. On this date, folks, back in 1926, Violet Neatley Anderson, might be akin to yours, Violet Neatley Anderson became the first African-American female attorney admitted to practice before the United States Supreme Court. She served as a courtroom reporter for 15 years before attending Chicago Law School. And then in 1920, she graduated from law school and established a private practice after passing the bar and being licensed before the U.S. Eastern District of Illinois. She was one of the first women of any race in the state of Illinois to engage in private law practice. And in 1922, she successfully defended a woman accused of killing her husband. This courtroom success resulted in her being appointed to assistant prosecutor in Chicago. So Black women have always been doing some great things.
Right. And I see that picture that Greer showed. She is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Incorporated.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black
Or
women
by the
doing-
way, go ahead. Black women
go
doing
ahead.
great things. I was just going to say, Orangey threw in his black fact. He says the price of crawfish is too daggone high. So, but the sisterhood of first, yes, Violet Anderson. Wow.
Yeah.
Have you done ancestry? Is she related to you somehow?
I've never even heard of her before, so she's new to me. So I probably not, but who knows? Maybe.
Right.
Maybe. Actually, she might be. My grandfather, who I took last name, he's an Anderson, and he's from Joliet, Illinois. And so, yeah, could be.
What are you gonna say, Greer?
No, I just said you got to remember it just might mean that her folks was at the same plantation. So just got to keep.
She always got to put it in that type of perspective. But that's
but no,
the militant in her. She got it from her mama, I'm sure.
But yeah, Illinois, Joliet, Illinois.
Yeah, there you go.
And on this day, this was the one I was going to do yesterday before my internet flopped. But it actually was a 2-day event. It started at night and ended early the next morning. And I'm taking you back to the year of 1985, where 46 superstar artists organized by Harry Belafonte recorded USA for Africa, talking about We Are the World. And it happened in Los Angeles after the American Music Awards that Lionel Richie was hosting. After the awards, they all came back to a studio in LA and they recorded this iconic song written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie. We know that Stevie Wonder tried to get in on it on the tail end, but he was too late. And the iconic hit raised over $60 million for Phantom Relief. And so there is a documentary about it on Netflix. It's really good. It has great footage. They had to take the bottles of champagne away from Al Jarreau. Now when I look at it and I hear Lionel Richie stories about Michael Jackson and, wearing stinky clothes, I'm thinking, were those clothes stinky?
There's too many people around them to be stink.
Remember Harry Belafonte's role, so that's a good fact, because you whenever they talk about We Are the World and organizing it, they always just talk about Michael Jackson. Was it Paul McCartney?
Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. But I never hear about the role that Harry Belafonte played.
Oh, he played a huge role because Quincy was famous for, as the producer, but he was also famous for saying that he told everyone to check their egos at the door. But really, it was Harry Belafonte who they had the utmost admiration for, that group of superstars, that they were going to be obedient pretty much. Claire Perry said she saw the documentary and it was very enjoyable. She also mentions that in Joliet, Illinois, there's the NMPA has the Times Weekly newspaper there.
Oh, okay, good to know. Good to know. But yeah, that documentary, it is so good. Because it tells the story of Stevie Wonder and how they were trying to get him to participate and he wasn't showing up, and Michael and Lionel wrote the song and then he came in and Stevie wanted to add some African chants into the chorus, and they was like, they settled on something, but he was trying to bring Africa to the, he was like, this is for Africa. Why we not saying Zimbabwe? Whatever he was saying. And so, I mean, it's real. And Prince, they were trying to get Prince there.
Yeah, he only lent something to the album.
He said yes, and then he didn't show up.
Yeah, he lent a track to the album. That was it, but he didn't.
That night, they were trying to get him there.
He didn't.
And he kept, somebody was there. Sheila E. Sheila E. knew he wasn't coming, but they were trying to get Sheila E. Sheila E. actually felt like they used her because she was there, but they really was using her to get Prince there. That's how she felt about the scenario. So it's all of these different stories that came out of that night. So if you guys don't have, especially those who are snowed in, put that on your list of things to watch from Netflix.
Oh, the best thing that came out of it was that they brought attention to the plight of what was going on in Africa at the time. And the rock groups did the same thing as well. They had the huge, what do they call it? Feed the World thing. And that was for Africa as well. So it was a great time for the music industry to show their humanitarian side. And they did that.
And remember, it was Hands Across America. And remember that Saturday where it was supposed to be like all across the United States, everybody joined hands you ran to the radio because you wanted to be a part of when they played the song and they was holding the hands. I mean, it was a whole movement. I mean, and that's another thing, like you have that, and then you have, remember, Black Men United, You Will Know, D'Angelo.
You Will Know,
Who could they, and then remember Dr. King's song, Sing, Celebrate. They came together for that. Who would they come together for today? And who's coming to that room, to that studio?
Yeah,
who's doing the track? Who,
Yep. Well,
the good old days. The good old days.
We better get out of here. Speaking of good old days.
Oh my gosh, almost a 2-hour show today. But this has been informative, fun, enlightening, and sad at the same time. Remember, we started the show with Greer losing her mind, waking up this morning feeling like doomsday. So respect your mental health and maintain y'all peace.
See you tomorrow.
Oh, I guess she's waiting for me to say for the latest in Black news and headlines. Make sure you check out Black Press USA. Like, subscribe to Black Press USA, and let it be known. Support the Black Press. We are one.
We'll see you tomorrow.